Hi everyone, and welcome to part 3 of my latest project, which is the Kitbash of Mirage's 1/35th scale C7P Polish artillery tractor. As you can see from these two pictures, all the components have now been completed and super detailed, all ready for painting. So let's see how we managed to get to this stage. First of all, I wanted to start off with the rear, finishing off the rear end. So that involved putting together some details on the radiators. As you can see, just using some plastic strip and some rivets made from pewter strip, made some effective brackets, and then a similar use along the top for the detailing there. And underneath, all had to be strengthened because it was a bit flimsy, and that enabled it to sit a lot more secure within the actual compartment space itself. A few little pipes are put up at the back there, and as you can see, it all joined in really well. So very pleased how that all turned out. One of the other items at the rear was the main station going through the middle. That was detailed up using pewter strip and rivets again. I'm really pleased on how that came out, and it certainly looks the part. There was a small handle that had to be made in the middle. That was just using a chunk of plastic that was sculpted into shape, and then a thin piece of styrene rod with a little pewter strap to tie it down. And the fuel cans were finished off with some filler caps. Then I turned my attention to the front end, where we wanted to add some detailing to the hubs. The one on the left is before, and obviously the one on the right is after. And it involved making some strips that all had to be of equal length. And the best way to do that is with the use of the RB Tools guillotine. A very effective tool to use for the simple reason that it does give you equal length on whatever it is that you're cutting. It's ideal for sort of small thin strips and rod, etc. It does struggle a little bit with the larger square rod or tubing, because it does cut at an angle. But a very nice piece of kit, and ideal, as I say, for precision cutting. So there we have all the strips in place, and with use they went on well together. Another central part, this was before the detailing was put on, and obviously with the detailing after. Again, lots of 0.6mm pewter rivets and little bits from the spare box, and as you can see, that certainly made the difference. And similarly with the other central hub, quite a lot of work had to be done here. So some weld beads were put in, and you'll notice that one of the rivets is missing. That has been now restuck on, and again some more strips and some more nuts were added for detail. Now there was also some brackets that needed to be made. There's two on the top and two on the bottom, so a template was made, and then using a thicker styrene sheet, 4 were cut out. Now it's very difficult to make 4 look exactly the same, so what you need to do is just put them all together as best as you possibly can, and level them all off on at least one edge. And then what you need to do is to get yourself a file and just sand it down, so that they're even all the way around, and before you know it, you'll have 4 equally shaped pieces of plastic that will look the part when added to the model. So this is them in the stack, and then divided into the 4. These then had a little bit of detailing that needed to be added, nothing major, just some little ringlets, which is a simple matter of wrapping around some 0.3mm wire around a piece of rod, and then just cutting each individual link up and then sticking them onto each piece with some CA glue. So very effective. Now turning my attention to the seats, they weren't too bad. There was a lot of detail missing, so that had to be added. But as you can see, the actual seat itself had some nice detailing, so there was no need to really change the seats that they were actually sat on. However, the actual structure of the seat did have to be improved. As you can see here on the backs, a small strap was put along the back to add a little bit of detail to show that that was, I'm not too sure, it's either wooden or metal, the backs, I'm not sure, but the fronts were leather cushion, so they were made and sculpted out of plastic card. And then there was a little strengthening bar along the bottom that was missing on all the seats, and that had to be added. As I said, the cushions on the bottom were fine. They looked a little bit rigid, so I just sanded them back a bit to give them more of a rounded shape, and they certainly looked a lot better, adding a little dent into the front there to show they look more cushion-like. And I just added some seat adjusters on each side using some plastic card discs. Now the actual supports that they're on were far too high, so they will cut back down to size, and as you can see now they fit a lot better. I think I said in one of the other videos the front seats were completely wrong. They shouldn't have any supports at all, so they need to be sunk down. So I was really pleased how they all turned out, and I'm looking forward to getting those painted up. Now the one on the back here I've left in a down position because that will enable the viewer to see some of the detailing looking into the back of the vehicle. So with all the seats done, it was now time to move on and do some of the super detailing. Now this is not a historically accurate representation of the original, so it's really a matter of creating an illusion, so to speak. So for example, the rivets here are probably larger than what they should be and more spread out than what they should be, but it does give a nice bit of detailing for the viewer to see. And all the rivets are made from pewter strip using a punch and die set from RB Tools. You're supplied with 0.5 up to 2 mil punches, and then it's just a matter of getting either your plastic strip or your pewter strip or your foil, whatever it is that you're using, and putting it underneath the plastic, using the punches, and then as you can see, catching them in the tray, and then you have all your rivets that you will need to use for the detailing. The more detailing you put in, the better your model will look. Then at this stage I decided to put the fenders on. You can get PE fenders, but I prefer just to thin these ones down, and it's just a matter of getting the craft knife out and some sandpaper and getting them as thin as you possibly can. As you can see from this photo, it's quite a difference, and that gives you a little bit touch more realism. And as you can see there, all the detailing that was on the back has now been taken away. There are some rivets that needed to go on the back, and I just wanted to do it the quickest way possible, so I got some Eduard rivets out of the spares drawer and put those on the back as strips. And as you can see, the fenders have gone on really well. The front end detailing of the kit part is incorrect, so that needed to be taken away and adjusted, and it's just a matter of adding on some plastic card strip, and then further nuts for Meng on the front, and then some more riveting details and a little bit of PE there as well. Now I haven't done all the other rivets, and I haven't done it on the other side. This is purely just to show you how it's all going, because obviously things will get knocked off and damaged during the rest of the build. There was a little bit of unevenness, and that's now been sorted out using the Humble filler, and that's all sanded back, and very pleased with how that's turned out. So with the fenders done, it was a matter of turning to the front end and adding the detail there. There's a little footboard that's simply made out of plastic card strip, using a craft knife to put the wood grain in, and again more pewter rivets. And then we made the foot section for the pedals, and that was made from a piece of copper sheet bent into shape and then glued onto a piece of card for ease of use. And then again, it's just a matter of building up the detail. So we put in the base for the foot pedal with some rivets. Then we make the foot pedal itself, very small, but I used a bit of grill from the PE spares drawer, and just put a little side pieces on as per the reference photos. And then there's the actual pedal leg itself that's added to the actual arm at the bottom. Bit fiddly, but really pleased with how it all turned out. And there you go, that's in place. And then it was just a matter of making the other pedal, which strangely enough is just a piece of wire apparently. So I put a little pewter strip on the bottom as well, and that was put into place. And the wire, by the way, was 0.3mm. And I was really pleased how that turned out. That certainly looks really nice, and look forward to seeing that painted. So all in all, the detailing has gone really well. As you can see, both fenders are on now. A little bit of detailing had to be done on the back of the fenders, but as I say, I'm leaving the rest, all the other rivets, off until the end of the build. More rivets were put along the bottom. The little loops there of wire for the rifle rests. And all in all, I was really pleased with how all the detailing went. There may well be some that I haven't done, but I've got to the point now where I'm more than happy with the way it looks, and it's time to get some paint on it. So that just leaves me to say thanks very much for your continued support of my work. I hope you've enjoyed this build. Big thank you to all of my subscribers, and I look forward to seeing you on the next stage of this build, where we may well look at doing some paint work, but if not, we'll just carry on doing some more scratch work and improvement on the actual kit parts itself. So happy modelling, everyone.